Welcome to Sonia's Book Talk. I'm going to do the best of 2017. Now, the last few Decembers, I've done the best of, and I've talked about 3 books of that year that I really liked, that I think would appeal to a variety of people. So this year, I couldn't decide. I was having a hard time deciding, so then I thought, what if I do 3 fiction and 3 nonfiction best of 2017? So that's what I'm going to do today. I will start with the fiction. So, one of the books I read earlier this year is called All Grown Up by Jami Attenberg. Now, this is a story of a 39-year-old girl who, I should say woman, who is trying to still become an adult. She's still floundering with her career. She's kind of an artist. She is becoming an aunt for the first time. It takes place in New York City. The writer is from Brooklyn. Yeah, I like these kind of books because the writing is so smart and funny. And when I read it, I was 39 earlier this year, and I could relate, and I felt like the character was really written really fully, and there's humor in here. It made me laugh out loud at some of the situations. But there's also a serious side to this book. And actually it ended more serious than I would have liked, but overall it was a really good read, and I think one of my favorites of the year, so I wanted to talk about it today, All Grown Up. There's also sexual situations in here, which I really appreciate because I think it really gives a good round idea of the character and the character's life. So I appreciate that. If that's not your thing, I have Setting Free the Kites by Alex George. Now, this is his second book. His other book a few years ago was called A Good American, and that one was really good too. This is a sweet story about a boy in Maine, and he gets a new friend who comes to town. And actually their friendship, the boy that comes to town, he's more of a risk taker and kind of a, what's the word, trouble seeker, or just kind of, adventurous. And I'm realizing that I like books that have this dynamic of 2 friends, and the one is more of a daredevil and pulls the other one along. I really like that aspect. So this is a sweet tale of a boy and his friend, and also the brother who is sick. And the brother is sick, chronically sick, but it's still a hopeful read. It's not, it has that serious aspect, but it has a lot of heart. And I really liked it, and it's not a huge book, but I wanted to bring it to your attention because this author, I think he writes really some really good stories. So Alex George, Setting Free the Kites, pick that one up. Very sweet. The third fiction book that I'm going to talk about for 2017, our book club loved this book. This is The Orphans Tale by Jenoff. This is a World War II tale, and we keep saying, my book club keeps saying, oh, no more World War II, because it's just so heart-wrenching, but they're just so good. This one right away starts off really dramatically, pulls you in right away. It centers around 2 girls in Europe. One of them is Jewish and trying to hide from the Nazis, obviously. She's in a circus, and they're performing around Europe, and she's, under a fake alias, and she's trying to lay low and basically, keep from being taken by the Nazis. So, and there's this other girl that becomes her friend, and she rescues a baby. That's all I'll say about that. I don't want to spoil it. But this one, very dramatic. You might say even at times kind of melodramatic, but I went with it because it was just really, it was a really good story and very exciting, and there's a love aspect in there too, which I really like, as you know. So, The Orphan's Tale. I am going to talk about nonfiction now. The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. The dark story of America's shining women. This was riveting. This was about the girls who worked in radium factories back early 20th century, before people knew that radium was so radioactive and cancer-causing and poisonous. They were actually, these girls who worked in the factory, they were envied for their jobs, and then they started getting mysteriously ill. So this author's actually British, but when she heard the story, there are scientific accounts, but she said there has to be something about the women's lives. We have to have, their stories need to be told. So she really delved into the actual women's lives and made this a really good human interest story. It reads like a novel. It does have the science and the medical, and it also has the social justice, because these girls then and their lawyers had to go after the companies and to get the companies to stop, putting people at risk, which the companies were not admitting to their fault. So this was really good, true story, and heartbreaking, and just really, really interesting. So lots of librarians agree with me. A lot of people agree with me that I've recommended this to. Check it out. Really good. Okay, my second nonfiction book is Member of the Family by Dianne Lake. And this one is a true story of one of the girls who was in the Manson family cult. And this one was really, really addictive to me. Like, once I got through like the first third, then I couldn't stop reading it. It's really well told. Again, reads like a novel. So you all know the story of Charles Manson. This is actually does not disappoint, because if you want some details of the craziness that went on in there, like, this gives it to you. But also, Diane's story was so heartbreaking because her parents got wrapped up in drugs and that whole culture, and neglected her, and that's why she found herself looking for other families. So it's really, the end made me cry, I'll just say that. So I had to recommend this one. And for my third nonfiction book, we'll put a picture up here, Born a Crime by the Daily Show comedian Trevor Noah. This one is just flying off the shelves, so we don't have a copy of it right now, but not even the e-copies, that those are all checked out too. So, and reminder, we have lots of e-books available in our catalog. You don't need a Kindle, you can read books on your computer like I do. But this one was so big this year. I recommended this to so many people, and they've said, like, it's so good, they loved it. It's gotten a lot of buzz because he was born actually in South Africa in the 80s during the apartheid, and he was actually born a crime because his parents, well, he has one black parent, one white parent, and that was actually a crime. It boggles the mind that that's like actually a crime, that a black person and a white person couldn't be a couple. But it's very humorous, obviously very interesting perspective of his life in South Africa during the apartheid. So that one I just wanted to mention because that is gives us a male author for the nonfiction books. And I'm going to end that here because it's probably longer. This is probably longer than my other book talk videos, but there were just so many books to talk about for 2017. And join me next time. I'll have a new series, a new theme in January. Thank you. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the Stickney-Forest View Public Library's YouTube channel. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Stickney-Forest View Public Library District, where great things happen.